What is up, guys? It is the Sound Alchemist, and once again, I am here to talk to you about a brand spanking new faction for AOS, Age of Sigmar. That's right, guys. Today I'm not talking about Warhammer 40k. Today I am talking about the other half of GW. I guess half makes. I don't think they cover Lord of the Rings, so it's not a half. And then there's Forge World, which is kind of equal but separate. Anyway, today I'm talking about a new faction that got released pretty recent actually, and that is the Ossiarch BoneReapers. Think of them as the Age of Sigmar equivalent to Necrons, or at least that's kind of what it seems to be the case. So yeah, I know I'm talking about Age of Sigmar, not many people like Age of Sigmar, but we here at One Mind Syndicate and our group of friends that play Warhammer 40k have just started collecting and playing Age of Sigmar. So my first impressions are that it seems more streamlined and a quicker version of Warhammer 40k. There's a little bit more strategy to it because you have the option of going twice, or at least back to back. So you got to kind of prepare to have two turns against you, but at the same time, don't be assuming that you're going to go, basically twice. So there's a little bit more strategy to it. The models are phenomenal, and one thing about Age of Sigmar is that it's very difficult to pick an army to be your main army. And I say that because every faction that I've seen has something that I love. Whether it's the awesome mounts, just the synergy between units, the awesome aesthetics from model to model. Like, these are really, really great models. And the cherry on top to Age of Sigmar is that you're not getting bogged down by marine release after marine release after marine release, and you don't get anything for your Xenos. Here, it's not like that. Yeah, Sigmarines are kind of like the Space Marines. Yeah, Sigmarines, the Stormcast Eternals are like the Space Marines, but it's not all about them. Other factions also get love too. And that is exactly the case with the Ossiarch Reapers. They are relentless, disciplined, deathless. They are the culmination of centuries of planning by Nagash and the harbingers of his dark reign. Where the legions of Nagash are the foot soldiers of death, the Night Haunts are the shock troops, then that means that the Ossiarch BoneReapers are the vanguard of a new order. So basically what it's saying, if you're playing the Order of Death, you can use these guys as allies. I for one play Night Haunts, which are more of like the shock troops. They go in there, they bog you down with numbers, and when you hit them, they don't take any modifiers from like rending weapons, so they're pretty resilient. However, once the Night Haunts have gone and done what they need to do, this is when the big guns come in the form of the BoneReapers. These guys look amazing. Like I said, they're a crossbreed of like Necrons, Samurai, and Skeletons, which is just so awesome. With Necrons, I mean, you have like metal skeletons. Here you got bone skeletons. But if you look at the aesthetic and the theme of the BoneReapers, you can clearly see the Japanese samurai armor integrated into their helmets, and just overall the whole feel and look of the army is very samurai-like. A quick lore to them is basically that they are warriors of bone that have been infused with many, many souls. So kind of similar to the Necrons, where they're just a metal construct infused, or soulless actually. These guys are a bone construct infused with many souls, multiple souls. So therefore, they kind of have many, many lifetimes to draw upon for certain tactics and situations. Oh, I'm about to fight against a chaos demon. Maybe there's like a soul in there who used to be a valiant defender of the realm, and he knows how to take down demons. So that kind of gives the BoneReaper the edge, lore-wise, at least in this type of scenario. There's many more models to come from the ones that we've seen since, like I said, it's a brand spanking new army. But let's talk about the models that we do have available. And that is an amazing lineup. Even the freaking foot soldiers look crazy good. So anyway, let's talk about the Mortec Guard. They are essentially the elites. They're heavily armored. As you can see, they've got shields, swords, spears. They're basically just going to go in there and take down the enemy 300 style. However, if this isn't your cup of tea and you want more of a cavalry type of attack, you have the Cavallo Death Riders. Just look at these guys. They're so badass. Like I said, mounts are probably my favorite thing in Age of Sigmar. Any mount in any army just looks so badass to me. I mean, tell me these things are not badass. Prove me wrong. Tell me you'd rather play a rhino instead of these. No, this is it. These guys look really badass. Like I said, I'm really thinking of getting some of these for my army. But anyway, let's move on to one of the more intense looking ones, the Immortus Guard, the elite guard of the BoneReapers. These guys are really badass because the actual kit you can build in two ways. One is with a shield and kind of like a glaive / axe weapon, and the other one you actually get to use their four hands to good use, whether it's with 2 short swords and 2 daggers, or wielding a long sword or a great sword. But nonetheless, these look really badass. And then you have the Gothisar Harvester. This looks very reminiscent to like the Skaven guy, but pretty much what it does is he collects metal, bones, anything reminiscent of the enemy after the BoneReapers have piled straight through their lines and killed them. He's essentially like a grave robber in a way, because he takes all these bones and body parts and just mashes them onto his back. It looks really sick. And then we have one of the funnier models of the line, the Mortison Soul Mason. He reminds me a lot of like the Slan, because he's sitting cross-legged on his little throne, but his throne has legs. Like, how cute is that? It almost looks like he's like on a high chair and he's like a little baby. Oh man, as weird and creepy as that is, it's pretty bad. So I'm not gonna lie. Especially with that little like ghost thing that he's like, is he smoking that? What the heck? He might be. It looks like he's got a little vape on his hands. So, dude. But anyway, let's move on to the last 2 models that I want to talk about, and these are phenomenal. The detail, the badassness, and overall, they're just a pinnacle of what the BoneReapers are. But anyway, this one is Liege Cavallos. And he's basically a hero for your army. He's the general that rides up, gives boosts, and overall boosts morale to the close combat efficiency of the BoneReapers. From what I was reading on the articles, it says that this guy is essentially a mirror image to the Lord Celestant on a Dracoth. So he's as tough and as strong as a Stormcast Eternal. And that's just a regular dude. There is one even better, a lethal champion that stands out above the rest. Arc Cavallos Xantos. This guy, I mean, just look at the pose here. Napoleon, anyone? But anyway, he was a really, really trusted general that everybody relied upon. He was a professional assassin at one point, but now he's a savage killer focused on the purification of Shyish. And Shyish is like one of the major realms in Age of Sigmar. But anyway, this guy looks pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie, he's got an awesome spear, just the pose, and there's a little ghost on the bottom. Yeah, this guy he's it. This is it, Chief. But anyway, now let's talk about the main man, the I guess the Nagash, so you could say, of this army. And that is none other than the Mortarch of the Necropolis, Orpheon Katakros. He is a general, or he was a general of the Mortal Realms. However, now he is a terrifying warrior of undeath. He was trapped. However, Lady Allender, which is the ghost lady from the Night Haunts, she actually freed him from his confines and basically said, hey, Nagash, we could use this guy. And that's when he's like, okay, cool, we'll use him. But anyway, ever since then, he has been ruling his BoneReapers. Just look at the model, dude. Like, there is so much going on here. He just looks so badass, right in the middle, leading his armies. But he's got like 1, 2, 3, at least 4 servants, and a freaking raven right there. So, you know this guy means business when I'm pretty sure he doesn't even have to attack. His servants do that for him. He's got our bannerman. He's got probably some council dude, a little servant with a scroll. And probably the main reason why I would get this sculpt is just for this badass right here. Look at him. This is a samurai. You can't say otherwise. This guy looks so badass. His stance, his sword. Yeah, he means business. Oh man. But yeah. This is the Ossiarch BoneReapers, the newest faction to grace Age of Sigmar. And unfortunately, I came a little too late across it. But anyway, I fear not, because I could always add units to my Night Hunt army, and it makes sense thematically, and they fit in. Ghosts, skeletons, yeah, it works. So anyway, let me know what you guys think about this army. Let me know what you think about Age of Sigmar in general. If you do play Age of Sigmar, how do you feel about this brand new faction that seems really powerful? I believe some stuff is up for pre-order, and there's actually a box set coming out with the ogres fighting against the BoneReapers, and from what I've been hearing, it's not a monopose sprue. You can actually have a little bit of fun with your sprues and how you build your models. So that's a win-win in my book, especially since the ogres are getting new rules, a new update. So if you play ogres, if you play if you play Battlescribe, if you play the ogres, and if you want to get into this new faction, this is definitely a must-have for you guys. Split it with a buddy. And that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll see you next time. This has been The Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, signing out.